How you guys doing? I'm Dr. Obed Magni, and welcome to the Magni Leadership Accelerator, where if you're looking to get into the C-suite, looking to be the best version of yourself, and if you are trying to adapt in today's climate when it comes to career acceleration, you've come to the right place. Today, we're going to be talking about mastering adaptability, your key to career acceleration. Now, the reason why I want to talk about this particular subject is in the age of AI, everybody's freaking out. I just had a great conversation with a friend of mine on the phone not too long ago, and we were talking about, the changing of the guard, the old guard and the new guard, meaning that the workforce of yesterday has to adapt to the future that's here. Not coming, but is already here. And I'm going to give you guys three tips that's going to help you stay with the game that is ever evolving and staying ahead of the game that's ever evolving. So let's get to it. The adaptability advantage. In today's workforce or in today's workplace, if you're not adaptable, you're going to get left behind, period. End of discussion, full stop. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk, okay? So it is absolutely essential that you guys adopt the adaptability mindset, okay? Organizations today, they're facing constant transformation, and even now more than ever, traditional career paths are becoming increasingly fluid. And what does that mean, increasingly fluid? It means that the ways of getting ahead, that career ladder that you learned yesterday, those are becoming less and less common. Okay, so understand that going forward, if you want to be in a position where you're always going to be the obvious choice for your particular career or the obvious choice in whatever, industry you want to get into, you've got to have the mindset of I'm just going to go to school, get an education, or maybe get a doctorate degree, and then work hard, and then I'm just going to get, picked for it. Those days are over, okay? You've got to be fluid. You've got to be adaptable, and you've got to be able to change with the storm, okay? So success requires navigating uncertainty. So again, if you've been out there in the ocean or in the waters, if you've ever been on a cruise or on a boat, sometimes the waves can be a little choppy, and you've got to navigate those choppy waters. If you're very good at navigating those choppy waters, then it really doesn't matter when the storm comes. You just adapt to it and you go forward. You don't get left behind, okay? So those who master adaptability, they don't just survive change, they leverage it. So let's talk about how you leverage those skills. Number one, you got to cultivate a growth mindset, okay? So if you want to transform those challenges into a career catalyst, you've got to reframe setbacks, okay? See failures as a valuable data point for improvement. We've all been through some ups and downs in our lives, and if you've been through a setback, and Lord knows I've been through many, many, many setbacks, one way to get ahead of it, or one way to manage it, is to reframe yourself or reframe the situation and saying, you know what? I just had this bad thing happen to me. What does this mean going forward? How can I be better for it, right? So if you've ever ridden a bike, think about the first time you rode a bike. When you were riding that bike, when you fell off, like I did you say, oh man, I'm quitting, I'm a failure, I can't ride this bike anymore? No, you said, all right, I was expecting that. You got right back on, did it again, and you probably fell off and scraped your knee. So you did it until you got to the point where you can ride a bike and it became unconscious. Same thing with tying a tie or tying your shoelaces. The first time, you probably didn't do that well, but you were saying, okay, I know I got to practice this. This is not a failure. This is just a part of the process. Having that mindset is going to set you apart from the next person. You got to seek stretch assignments. Now, I know we've heard the expression of comfort zones and nothing grows in the comfort zones, but I got to tell you guys something right now. If you're comfortable, that is a very, very, very dangerous spot to be in, okay? So make sure you're signing up for those assignments or you're taking on roles that are pretty much going to push you or shove you out of your comfort zone. But if you have that growth mindset, hey, when I master this thing, I'm going to be great at it. Celebrate progress. Value improvement over perfection. All right. Listen, even if it's a tiny win, celebrate that tiny win because you're making those incremental steps forward towards success. So you want to have that growth mindset, even if it's the smallest, the tiniest improvement, celebrate that. Okay. Don't dismiss it as, oh, that's whatever. Hey, you know what? We were talking about the bike. I was able to go a couple feet further without falling off. Celebrate that. All right. So a growth mindset positions you as somebody who thrives under pressure. You want to show, hey, whether it's the CEO or somebody that you're trying to impress because you want to work in that organization, show them, hey, man, you know, when I took on this role, I knew that it was going to be a challenge. Celebrate those wins. Talk about, hey, you know what? I stubbed my toe here, stubbed my toe there, but this is what I learned. You do that going forward. All right. Strategy number 2, cognitive flexibility. Make sure you're developing that mental agility for rapid pivoting, because if you're standing still, you're going to get left behind. All right. So make sure you're seeking diverse perspectives. There are people out there who probably know things that you don't know. And we've heard the expression, you don't know what you don't know. Well, the way you fix that is you talk to people, seek different perspectives, see if you're on the right wavelength. Maybe there's something you're not considering. You want to make sure you position yourself where you're learning from other people. All right. Question your assumptions. Don't think you're always right. If you're one of those people who are never wrong or never think you're wrong, chances are you're probably wrong on a lot of things. All right. So always, even questioning your own assumptions makes you a better person and makes you even better when it comes to career. Now, you see, here's a mistake I just made. I didn't put my phone on Do Not Disturb. And of course, somebody would call me right now as I'm recording this video. See? Lesson learned for next time. Make sure you put your phone on silent. All right? But you know what? That's okay. We're still going to keep going. We're still rolling. You're going to experiment with new approaches. All right? There is no one size fits all when it comes to success. Sometimes there's easier ways of doing things. Maybe there's a different way, different angle that you may not be aware of. Try it out. See what works for you. You might find that, hey, you know, I've been doing this for this long because I've always done it this way, not knowing that there's probably an easier way, a more efficient way. All right. So make sure you have that flexible thinking. All right. You become invaluable during those organizational changes, and you come off as an innovative problem solver. All right. In today's world where people are, you know, getting laid off left and right, unexpectedly in many cases, make sure you're putting yourself in that position where should the worst case scenario take place, you've already positioned yourself to either mitigate that, or you can transition into something else and you're going to be better for it. Last thing you want to do, you want to build your resilience and emotional intelligence, your EQ, all right? You got to master your response to navigate any storms. Practice stress management techniques, all right? Whether it's counting to 10, pausing, whatever works for you. I know that meditations are big for a lot of people. If that works, journaling is another way to practice stress management, okay? Just getting your thoughts on paper. There are many ways to do this, all right? I'm not saying do one over the other. Find what works for you, okay? Second thing you want to do is you want to build a strong support network. Everybody is not always looking out for your best interest. Okay, I'm going to say this again. Not everybody's looking out for your best interest. We have a lot of haters out there who will pretend to be looking out for you, and they'll just tell you whatever it is just to kind of derail you. So make sure your strong support network are with people that you trust, all right? Because the people that you trust will probably tell you some things that might hurt your feelings because they want you to be the best version of yourself. Those are the people you really want to lean into, okay? Not everybody's going to try to do what is best for you. I cannot stress that part enough, especially for your peace. So make sure you're surrounding yourself with people that you trust and develop that self-awareness, okay? Make sure as you look at the landscape, you understand what your triggers are, what maybe sets you apart from others. Just think of those things. I'm going to give you one specific example. If you look at Blockbuster, I think a lot of people know about the story about Blockbuster. I used to be one of those people on Friday nights that would go and peruse around the aisles looking for videotape to, you know, watch a couple movies for the weekend, stuff like that. The digital landscaping was already changing. It was already emerging. It was kind of like a slow moving tsunami. But Blockbuster, they chose to ignore it. Their self-awareness was, we're never going to go into that age. We're going to be focused here on VHS because we've always been VHS. Their failure to adapt literally cost the organization. Nobody talks about Blockbuster anymore, okay? So using Blockbuster as an example, don't fall into that same trap as them, all right? Make sure you're developing that self-awareness. Make sure you're looking around the landscape. Again, make sure you're talking to other people. Hey, what's going on? You guys have access, many of you have access to, internet and have smartphones that we don't turn off during recordings. Make sure you do research. Just look into, hey, what's going on? What does the future look like? How do I put myself in a position where I'm moving into the future and not getting left behind? So your next step is to choose one of those strategies to focus on this week. Comment below. Tell me how that worked out for you or how it's working out for you. And I'd love to, hear about your journey. And I will absolutely comment and, want to share that journey with you. So again, I'm Dr. Obed Magni. Just want to share with you, make sure you're developing that adaptability mindset. You do so, you are going to accelerate in your career trajectory. Again, thank you for coming to my YouTube video TED Talk, and I'll talk to you guys soon.